This is really a good time to come off the high of summer, reestablish this pattern of nourishing yourself so you can move forward into the deep and reflective work of fall. Hello and welcome back to Remember Why You're Here, a podcast for seekers and sensitives where you can relax, receive, reconnect to yourself, and remember that most important thing of all, why you're here. I'm Asia Suler, author, earth intuitive, teacher, and I wanted to come in today as I'm on a little bit of like a summer break right now. The past few weeks I've been releasing some audio episodes, taking a little bit of a break from filming the video part of this podcast as we transition to school time for my daughter and out of vacation mode. Perhaps you're in that transitional mode as well. And I notice a theme this time of the year is that there is a lot of transition. It's almost like we're not quite in summer, but we're also not quite in fall yet. And as it happens, there is a season for this. This season is accounted for in the Chinese medicine way of looking at existence. So I love this, and I wanted to step back into this understanding by revisiting this audio called The Fifth Season. So most of us grew up in cultures where we have 4 seasons, even if those 4 seasons barely fit the seasons that we live in. But most people are familiar with summer, fall, winter, spring. And yet, I don't know if you feel this, but right now, as we're approaching the end of August, it's like we're entering into this whole other vibe. It's not summer, it's not fall. We're deep in transition. We're moving out of like all the schedule changes, all the routine changes of summer and back into something that feels a little bit more routine. It's like the heat is still here, but we're having these glimpses of cool nights. This tends to be here where we live in Appalachia this time where kind of the mold starts to settle in. There's a dampness to this period of time. So it has its own whole character and quality. And this is why I love in this model of the Chinese medicine model, this model of the 5th season, that there is actually 5 seasons and there is a new season that is just starting now. So if you've never heard of this concept of the 5th season, it might really help you make some sense of why this feels different than summer or fall. It feels like something in between. So I encourage you to get your oat milk latte, whatever it is that feels nourishing for you today, and to tune in and listen to this audio revisit of the 5th season. Each season that we enter and cycle through has its own innate medicine. And when we can connect into the subtlety of that season and its particular character, we can receive the different medicine that it's bringing to us. There is a little known 5th season in the Chinese way of thinking about the wheel of the year. This is your introduction to the medicine of the 5th season, late summer. In Chinese medicine, there are 5 seasons, and these seasons are reflective of the cycle of growth from seed to bloom to decay to rest to rebirth. Right now, we've entered the 5th season, which is called late summer, and it starts around mid to late August until the September equinox. So a lot of times in our country, we'll call this Indian summer. And as I'm saying this, you might be having a particular remembrance or awareness of how this season really is different than the others. It's this transition into the fall time with these still sort of hot flash days. There is a distinct change that happens from summer into this Indian summertime before we actually hit the fullness of fall. So in the Chinese way of thinking, this is actually its own whole season with its own particular qualities in medicine. Late summer is the time of the earth element in Chinese medicine. So the earth element is all about grounding, rootedness. This is also at the very center of the 5-cycle season. So this season is oftentimes about creating a home, finding stability, and you see this reflected in our patterning around this time. This is often when people are going back to work, going back to school, maybe setting new goals for themselves, and all of these are good activities to have at the center of your altar during this late summertime. This is also the transition from the real yang of summertime, this real outward fire, to the yin of fall and winter. So you might find during this time that you begin to have some moments of exhaustion or tiredness. This is really your body's way of saying that it's time to transition from the overexertion of summer and start to cool into this yin phase. The earth element is always going to help us to understand how to slow down and nourish and take care of our bodies. So this is a really good period of time to start developing a really nourishing practice of your food and your diet and your self-care. Not coincidentally, the organs associated with this time are the stomach and spleen. So these are the organs of digestions, but not just physical digestion. We're also talking about here like mental and emotional digestion. This is a time to start digesting all of the busyness of summertime and really begin to process that so you can move into the deeply reflective time of fall. Fall is often a time of doing this inner work and preparing for winter time. It's a time of deep nostalgia and remembrance. So in late summer, we begin to process, digest, and break down everything that's happened so far in this year, in this growth cycle, so we can prepare for the quieting down of fall. When Earth is in balance, we're going to feel really nurtured. We're going to be feeling really capable and really solid in our calm awareness and knowing. When Earth is out of balance, you might experience worry or having your thoughts sort of roll a million miles a minute. So if these things are happening to you during this time, just know that it would be a good moment for you to step back and really focus on nourishing your Earth. How do we nourish our Earth? Well, first of all, creating time in your schedule for meditation, relaxation. Sometimes I find schedules really help me with my earth element, especially if you're embarking upon a new course of study this year or a brand new job, to really write out a schedule for yourself. When are you going to be engaged in that and when can you have downtime? Late summer is a really good time to start engaging with this. The colors of late summer are orange and yellow, and the taste is slightly sweet. So if you want some herbs to really help you sink into this time, there are a couple that really fit this profile beautifully, and they include shatavari, licorice, astragalus, and oat straw. You're going to notice some commonalities between these herbs. They're slightly sweet, they're nourishing, some of them are actually pretty high in mineral and vitamin content, and all of them have this way of working with our nervous system to help us slightly relax. Some of them are considered even adaptogens, which really is a term for helping our bodies, hearts, and minds and physiological systems adapt to any stresses that are coming our way. So this is really a good time to come off the high of summer, reestablish this pattern of nourishing yourself so you can move forward into the deep and reflective work of fall. So I'm super curious if this was new to you or if you know about this 5th season already. I remember when I learned about this, it kind of just like unlocked this new layer to life and existence, because when we understand what season we're in, we understand how to meet this season, right? We see that in the earth element of this season, we're really being asked actually to start to slow our roll from the summer intensity and the summer busyness, that we are going to be stepping into a little bit more, reflective time, that, we're really in this season of becoming, where we're going from experience after experience into, more of like the wisdom states that come with fall and winter. And so we see here that like Earth also has this like completion energy, right? Like there's this sense of like bringing us into, completion, digesting what's happened so far throughout the year and like really kind of preparing and orienting ourselves for what's to come. And I love thinking about in my own ancestral traditions and the Celtic wheel of the year that a new year is considered to begin after Samhain, which is at the end of October. And so in the Celtic way of thinking, we're actually like entering into the last phase of the year before a new year begins. And so some of these, moments of reflection and digestion, coming back into a rhythm that works for us, this is all important in preparing to, meet the changes, meet the new year that is en route. So, in any way that you can to create some stability and groundedness for yourself this month, I did in the intuitive reading for this month talk about this sense of stability coming in, this building energy. And so this feels like it's right on time for this particular week, for this particular time now that we are moving into in late August. That it's like, get the routine, figure out what works for you this fall, figure out the fall schedule. Figure out how you can ground yourself even as you continue to take these big steps into your life, into what it is you want to manifest in this world. I know for myself, I'm getting ready to make a big announcement about a new offering in my business, returning to some one-on-one work. So if you're interested in that, that will be coming out shortly. And I know that all of y'all probably have some really big new things that you've been working on too. So I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear about how this fifth season is feeling for you right now. Like, what in this fifth season are you centering in? What are you grounding in this fifth season? You can hop on over to the Substack companion to this podcast, Remember Why You Are Here, or you can leave me a message over on my website, asiasuler.com/remember. So I hope the transition of this time finds you able to get your 2 feet on the ground, able to sort of glimpse and see this perspective of your future, a new future en route, whatever it is that you are stepping into this fall and beyond. And may all these nourishing energies of late summer, this fifth season, may they come in and help you remember that most important thing of all, why you're here.